children as young as 11 and 12 being killed by the insurgents, in some cases in the most brutal way possible with decapitation, simply for being in the wrong place at the wrong time, or maybe for resisting to join them. It's just something that's sick.
Regional coordinator for Southern Africa at the Institute for Security Studies, Martin Uwe, joins me now from Pretoria in South Africa. Martin, good to have you on the show. I know you were listening to Haidar's report, and I think he said it best, that it seems that everyone is a target in this conflict. We know that the region of Cabo Delgado has long experienced various forms of instability and insecurity, but violence is definitely on the rise. Why is that?
Well, this is, yes, you are right that since 2017, we have seen an upsurge in the violence in Cabo Delgado. In 2019, when the Islamic State joined the local group, the so-called Arsenal Wa-jamaa, also known as Al-Shabaab, we saw the skyrocketing of horrible attacks, and recently the attacks that the Save the Children is referring to. These are attacks which are the hallmarks of the Islamic State. So what we are seeing is that the Islamic State really want to carve out northern Mozambique for itself and to disrupt many of the activities, economic activities that are ongoing. Some analysts have attributed it to an attempt to create the caliphate that they could not create in Syria and Iraq.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Tell me this. We know that the Mozambican government is not very forthcoming in terms of admitting, or rather acknowledging, the presence, but we have seen private military contractors operating in the region. Does this complicate the situation on the ground?
It does indeed, and I think in the report by the Save the Children and Amnesty International, including BBC, they have pointed fingers to one of these private companies you mentioned, the dye company, which has been forced to actually pull down its helicopters, which were doing most of the raid and air attack in Cabo Delgado. In some of those cases, children were caught in the fire. Innocent civilians were caught in the fire, which has been really unfortunate. We've seen, indeed, I think both sides have to blame, in terms of the atrocities that have been ongoing, the crimes against humanity that we've seen taking place in the region.
The Save the Children's report, children as young as 11 years old being killed, being beheaded. But when you look into it, there's a report that says, at least 50 people were beheaded in a soccer field in a span of a weekend. Truly very horrifying. Obviously, people are, fleeing the region. They're very disturbed. How do you think this conflict, does it have the potential to spread beyond the region?
Most certainly, but you're referring to the attacks. Look, what's happened over the weekend, what's happened recently is just symptomatic of the trend that we have been seeing in Cabo Delgado since last year. The first time that the region witnessed this horrific beheading was in April 2020, when 50 people were actually beheaded in a place called Muatide. And also the insurgents raided another village called Nanjaba, where they were able to behead 50 people also. In November last year, we witnessed some of these beheadings. But to take this further to the extreme has been the beheading of children, which we have not seen. But the targeting of children has been a recent trend among terrorist groups in Africa. We've seen Boko Haram targeting children, kidnapping children. In Cabo Delgado, we've also seen a lot of kidnappings of children, and the beheading really was to take this violence to another level.
Martin, pleasure talking to you. Good to have you on the show. Appreciate your analysis.